Hey guys, Barb McGowan here, and I'm talking to you small business owners, contractors, and HVAC, solar, insulation, roofing. If you struggle with getting paid on time and it's causing cash flow issues in your business, I'm going to tell you exactly how you can get paid on time, every time, guaranteed. Like I said, I'm Barb McGowan. I help small service-based businesses like the ones I just mentioned to set up automations, use AI, and use marketing strategies to get more customers, earn more money, and work less. So I think that's the dream for most people. The trick is to work smarter and not harder. So this is a huge struggle for our clients, is getting paid on time, or it was. And I'm going to go deep into how you can implement something so easy. You could do this tomorrow and start getting paid on time every time in your business. So don't think that it's normal to be chasing people for payments or that there's no way out of it. It's just part of life. It's not. And I'm going to tell you exactly how. So part one is going to be talking about myth busting the belief that chasing payments is just part of the business. I'm going to give you a case study from one of my clients, an insulation contractor here in California. And I'm going to give you a behind the scenes look on our platform, meetemma.io, to describe exactly how you can make this work for you. All right. So first and foremost, I want to let you know, this is not just automation. There is a human component. So you will have to take 5 minutes. That's literally all it takes to retrain your guys. So depending on the structure of your business, you might have a big team or it might just be you and one other person, but this is going to work across the board. So here is the 5-minute training that you'll have to do with your team. And like I said, I implemented this with one of my clients and they're having fantastic results. The CEO or the business owner was going from spending on average 5 hours a week chasing people, trying to get payments after the fact, after the job was completed. And now he spends 0 hours a week. So imagine if you had 5 extra hours a week, what you would do with that. You could build your business. You could find partnerships in your community with other contractors. You could get more customer referrals, more Google reviews. So let me dive into exactly how you can do this. Number one, let me take a step back. Let me tell you exactly what is going on with my client. So like I mentioned, he was doing tons of follow-up. This is text, email, making phone calls, harassing people, trying to get a hold of, oh, my husband will pay it later, those type of folks. They were also struggling with, they would collect a check, but it wasn't getting deposited right away. So it wasn't making it into the hands of the person that needed to deposit that check. And so the checks were being left in the truck. The invoice was being marked as paid in House Call Pro. And so it wasn't even on his radar. He didn't even know that it was a problem because it was showing as paid in House Call Pro. But it wasn't until his accountant came to him a couple months later and was like, hey, we have the discrepancy. This check was never deposited. It showed it was paid. So now your books are out of balance. So here's where the training part came in. They implemented a process where no checks were marked as paid in House Call Pro. Well, this is what we did before we switched them over to our platform. So number one, don't mark checks as paid. Hand the check physically to the business owner, to the CEO, or to the office chick, whoever's responsibility it is to deposit that check. Once they have deposited that check, then they can mark it as paid. And then it stays in a safe place, like in a safe or in a locked drawer. And you hold on to it until that check clears. So that's A. B, you need to, which House Call Pro now has a feature where you can deposit the checks mobily. So that helps out a little bit, but the point remains. Number two, you need to let the customer know. You have to set expectations starting with your sales guy. So what we did was we implemented a process where the sales guy would, once he closed the deal, would let the customer know, okay, we're going to accept payment after the job is completed, like immediately after. The installation team knows not to leave your house until they've collected payment. So are you going to be financing? Are you going to be paying with check, credit card? Like, how is this going to work? So you're already planting the seed that they're expecting payment after the job is completed and they're not going to leave until, and you know, you can be humorous about it, make a joke like, oh yeah, the guys are going to move in with you if you don't pay. But it doesn't need to be anything confrontational. It can just be something lighthearted. But setting that expectation, grabbing that information from the customer, letting them or put that into the notes for the production team so they know, okay, customer's paying with cash or check or credit card or financing, whatever. So they're aware of exactly how they need to, or what payment to expect from the customer. So that starts with the sales guy. Number 2, the production team needs to then follow through on that. So that means that they are requesting, well, let me take a step back. The way that the installation contractor works is when they get there to do the job, they do a walkthrough with the homeowner. So they're, seeing if there's any cats or small kids that they need to be aware of in the house. They're talking about the exact steps that they're going to take in the project, kind of setting those expectations with the homeowner so that they know what to expect, what they need to do, that type of a thing. So keeping them apprised. And then during that walkthrough process, they're also letting them know, okay, and I see here in our notes that you're paying with check. Is that still correct? Perfect. So we'll collect that at the very end. I'm going to give you before and after pictures and show you the work that we did. And at that time, that's when we'll take the payment. So again, planting that seed. Then at the end of the job, they're doing a walkthrough. They're showing them the before and after pictures, giving the customer those images so that they have them. And that's when they take the payment. So it's abundantly clear through that process when the customer is supposed to pay. Number 2, if you don't have a CRM, if you're not using automated invoicing, you must. Manual invoicing is the devil. It will slow you down so much, and it will lead to cash flow problems that will cost you money, cost you time, and hinder your business tremendously. And so I want to show you just the really simple automation that we have set up here in our platform, meetemma.io. Let me move my head out the way. Alrighty, so this is our platform, meetemma.io. So the way that this works, all the guys do in the field is they drag the customer's name into the box that says job completed. And what that does is this kicks off this automation. It's very simple. It goes from, in progress, the job is in progress, the job's completed. And immediately, I'm talking immediately, the customer gets a ding on their phone and an email that says, hey, here's your invoice, and then they pay it. So it's basically all set up. It's all automated. Nobody's going to forget. All your team has to do is basically mark that job as complete. So pretty simple. And then I want to also draw your attention to this dashboard. So this is the payments dashboard on our platform. This is just a test account, but you can see any invoices that are currently in draft. Excuse me. Invoices that are due, received, and then anything overdue. This column should always be 0, and it will be if you are using automation and put this behavioral change in place with your team. Now, I apologize, I'm getting over a cold. So that handles the issue with your customers. There is kind of a part B to this, and the reason why so 99.9% of the time, depending on who it is that you're working with, if you're primarily working with customers, this process will work 100% of the time. I'll say 99.9% of the time, right? Because you're always going to get that homeowner who, maybe they let the guys in and then they had to leave and go to work, or they had to leave and run an errand and then they'll come back. So in that case, that should be put into the notes by the sales team or the production team, and then a manager or the owner can follow up with that afterwards. The part B of this, and this is a problem that my client was having, is that he was doing work for, he was subcontracting for a general contractor who, this guy, he was so disorganized and he did not pay for this work that they had done for like a year. So I was like, okay, well, what kind of recourse do you have? And this is what I learned about the pre-lien notice. This is different in every state. Maybe some of you are familiar. Whenever you are subcontracting, you need to have an agreement in place where you're going to get all the information that you need to fill out the pre-lien notification. And basically what that does is it protects you, the subcontractor, against the general contractor or whoever it is that you're contracting with, prevents you from just being screwed over and not paid. So we are also in the process of setting up an automation for that exact purpose so that we can get all the information that we need from the contractor in order to fill out that pre-lien form and get it to them within the deadline. So here in California, it's 20 days from the date you started the work. It differs state to state, so just depending on what state you're in and depending on the nature of the work that you do, if you're primarily working with customers, if you're primarily working as a subcontractor, just be aware that all use cases are covered, no matter who you're working with. So we can set up automations that will make that process effortless for you. All right. So we talked about the new process that you're going to implement with your team. We talked about the automations that you can have set up. And like I said, within 2 weeks, this owner went from spending on average 5 hours a week trying to chase people down to 0 hours a week. And like, except with the exception of that general contractor, all of the invoices are paid on time. That one's still pending, but he's in the process of following up with that guy and harassing him. So we've talked about automated invoicing setup. We can also set up automated reminders. If you have existing customers who still haven't paid, we can set up automated reminders, text, email, and soon we're going to be able to set up automated calls that go to them. And it's not going to sound like a robot. It's not going to sound like a bill collector. It's going to sound like a human being calling that person and saying, hey, I see you have an invoice outstanding with XYZ HVAC company. Is it okay if we collect payment on that now? And you don't have to do it because it's all automated. The cool thing about meetemma.io is that it integrates with QuickBooks or whatever accounting software that you're using. And so it all ties together and you don't have to lift a finger to get the information from your CRM, which is what the platform is, over to your QuickBooks or whatever the software is that you're using for accounting. It also allows you to send invoices with payment options. So you can send them a link if they want to pay with credit card. You can send them the financing link. So if you're using something like House Call Pro, it's very comparable to that. I would say better because House Call Pro doesn't have these automations. But the point being, don't live thinking that life has to suck and it has to revolve around you constantly having to chase customers down for payment, because it doesn't have to be like that. Even if you take all the automations out of the picture, and even if you just implement the process that I was talking about to have your sales guy mention it multiple times to the customer about when they need to pay, which is at the end of the job or however it is that you handle payment, and how they're going to be paying, put those in the notes, pass that along to your production guys, and then have the production guys on, as soon as they get there to the job, walk through with the customer and say, hey, I see you're paying with cash or check or credit card or financing, whatever. Is that still the case? Okay, cool. We're going to accept that from you at the end before we leave the house. That's all it has to be. So even if that's the only thing you change and you go in tomorrow and you implement that with your team, you're going to drastically reduce the time that it takes you to collect payment. You're going to get payments on time, and then you're not going to have to put payroll on a credit card, or you're not going to have to go buy a bunch of job materials on a credit card because you have cash in your account. So chasing payments is not normal. Take 5 minutes to implement this new process. And if you're interested in having these automations set up for you, you can click the first link down in the description and book a call with me, and I will show you exactly how this can benefit you. It doesn't matter if you're making $500,000 a year or $3 million a year. We have a solution that's right for you. So go implement that. Let me know how it goes in the comments. And if you want to talk to our AI consultant that we built just for you small business owners, the contractors who work in roofing, solar, insulation, and HVAC, and you want to get some insight into your business, just like you're talking to a real human, click the second link down below and you can talk to our AI consultant for free. And she is going to give you all the inside scoop on your business and how you can make things easier for you. Because the goal here is always to get more customers, make more money, and work less. So I will be going live. I'm going live for 30 days straight to give you, the business owner, special tips, strategies, and automations that will help your life be so much easier and less stressful and chaotic. So I'm Barb McGowan with meetemma.io, and I will see you